Welcome to Scott Cooks, everybody. Today, we're going to be making one of my more complicated recipes in the Ninja Foodi. This is Thai sticky meatballs. There's a lot of ingredients, a lot of steps, so don't worry. Everything's going to be in the description, and I'm going to go through it as nice and easy and slow as I can. But we got a lot of work to do. This is a slow cooker recipe, so we need to get started early in the day, which it is. And let's get rolling, y'all. All right, as you can see, I just threw a whole bunch of ingredients up here on the counter. This is pretty much all of it. We've got ground chicken, Thai chili sauce, fish sauce, peanuts, panko soy. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And once again, this will all be in the description for you, and including very lengthy step-by-step instructions. Let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, for this first part, we're going to make a little paste. And this is my Ninja food processor over here. And this is the chopper that goes on top. So as I rough cut some stuff up, I'm going to be throwing it right into the top of the food processor. And I'll get you guys a good shot of that before I do it, before I process it. All right, we're going to start with the most important ingredient, I believe. This is lemongrass. Rough chop it. Just rough chop it because we're going to put this into the processor. Make sure you take you a sniff. Love me some lemongrass, y'all. Dropping right in there, and I'll show you all that as we go along. Next on the list is 3 shallots. If you don't have a shallot, which I do not, couldn't find them in the store, just get you a nice yellow onion. It'll do the same job. Again, rough cut it. We're going in the processor with it. Okay. Next up, 6 medium cloves of garlic. Again, rough cut into the processor. All right, get yourself 6 nice cloves of garlic. Prepare them whatever way you do, guys do it. This is how I do it. I snip the ends. I'll show you. Snip the ends. Take a flat side of my knife. Give them a smash. Skin comes right off. Pick it up. Throw it over into the processor. All right, now I think you might know what that is. It's a jalapeno. We're going to snip the ends. We're going to slice it in half. We're going to scrape the seeds out of it, and then we're going to throw it over into the food processor. If you're sensitive to this, you might want to throw some gloves on. It doesn't really bother me. I'm just not going to wipe my eyes after I do this. And I will go wash my hands pretty good when I'm finished. Okay? I'm just going to take a spoon. I'm going to do this over the trash can, but I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to scrape this right out like that. Okay, there you go. All cleaned up. Going to rough cut them, throw them in the food processor. When you get a jalapeno down like this, get that membrane out, get the seeds out, you're talking about something that's not too much hotter than a bell pepper. I mean, it's got a little kick to it, but not bad, just a whole lot of flavor. All right, next up, need a piece of ginger about that long. What we're going to do is just trim the ends on this ginger, and then we're going to peel it. I'm using my KitchenAid peeler. Peel it however you guys can peel it. Oh my God. The smell of ginger is amazing. Okay, looks good. Again, rough cut it into the processor. Okay, now you're going to need 3 tablespoons of your favorite fish sauce. I do like this brand, Thai Kitchen. It's premium fish sauce. 3. Okay, in the Ninja food processor, rough chopped 4 stalks of lemongrass, 3 medium shallots. If you don't have that, about a half of a yellow onion, 6 medium cloves of garlic, 1 jalapeno seeded and minced, 1 1/2 to 1 inch piece of fresh ginger, peeled, cut up, put into the processor, and 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Tablespoons, which is a fair amount. We're going to process this mixture until it forms a paste. All right, we've got a nice paste formed here. I'm going to get this out into a bowl. We'll be using some of this in 2 different places. So we want to get this out so we can separate it nicely. And this is basically forming the basic flavor profile for the entire dish. And it smells some kind of good, y'all. Okay, y'all, let's start cooking a little bit. We're going to need 2 tablespoons vegetable or canola oil in your Ninja Foodi. I'm not going to measure, but that's about 1, 2. We need to go ahead and heat that oil up. And to do that, power up your Foodi, put it on sear saute, bring it down to medium, and start. And we'll give that about 5 minutes to heat that oil. All right, now that you've got your oil heated up, we're going to put half of this mixture in that we made over in the processor. Not going to measure. About half. The other half is going to be reserved to make the meatballs with. All right, we're going to cook this down for 3 or 4 minutes. Once you're got some good aromatics going here, about 2 minutes, we're going to add about a half a cup of your favorite chili sauce. I'm going to use this Thai sweet chili sauce. I got a little under a half a cup going in right now. To that, I've got 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Let's get that moving in there. 2/3 of a cup of soy. Now, I know this seems like an awful lot of liquid, but if you remember what we're trying to do here, we're making sticky meatballs. In order to do that, we have to cook this sauce down. So we got to start with a lot and cook it down till it's crazy thick and sticky. That was 2/3 cup of soy sauce. Next up, we're going to do a 1/2 cup of rice vinegar. I'm going to be using this rice vinegar here. So 1/2 cup of rice vinegar. And stir to combine. We want to bring this back to a little simmer. Get that brown sugar all good and melted in there. You can see from me stirring, it's pretty thin right now. But when we're done, this is going to be really thick. All right, let's let that come back to a simmer. All right, we just brought it back to a simmer. And finally, we're going to add 1 cup of water. And now I'm going to do something you've rarely seen me do in the Ninja Foodi. I'm going to turn the sear saute to high. And the reason for that is I need a really good boil because I want to reduce this by half. And I can see that my marker right here says 4. So I'll know that when I get to 2, I've got it in half. Or thereabouts anyway. All right, we're going to let that come up to a really good boil and cook down a little bit. In the meanwhile, we're going to get ready to make some chicken meatballs. We've come to a full boil in the Foodi, sear saute high, and you can already see it's slightly below the 4 mark there. So I'm just going to let that cook down a little bit, and I'm going to go over here and start working on my chicken meatballs. Find yourself the biggest bowl you can find. I'm going to take the other half of that mixture we made and throw it in there. Get all that goodness in. We don't want to leave none behind. Get your large egg. Crack that in there. You're going to need 1 cup of panko. Make sure you leave your panko out. You might need a little more as we go along. But for now, we're going to put 1 cup into the bowl. Going to need yourself some ground chicken. I'm using this Perdue. This is 2 pounds of ground chicken. Going to make a lot of meatballs because we want a lot of meatballs. Okay, well, I'm going to mix all this up in a second. Grab yourself a couple scallions. Clean them up a little bit. There we go. Fine chop them. We're going to put them right in this mixture. Get them cut up pretty fine, y'all. Get them right in there with everything else. And you're going to need a little salt and pepper. You know what I'm going to use. Check the description. If you can't find this in your store, I've got a link to some. I'm not going to measure, but that ought to do it. Get your Foodi rack out. We're going to be doing broiling on this rack. So get your rack out, get it over the sink, give it a good spray with the Pam. I use this one. I'm going to go do that right now. Set that aside and get ready. And what I like to do is just get me a large platter out so I can set my meatballs on something other than the rack initially. All right, for this next step, make sure you got some good, clean, sanitized hands and get on in there. What I like to do is get down to the bottom and break that egg first. And if you never worked with ground chicken, it's quite a bit different than hamburger. It's very, very soft, very easy to combine. Just constantly roll and flip, roll and flip, roll and flip. I like to give it a little twist until you don't see any more of that yolk. That means you finally got that egg mixed in there. And if you find this a little too wet to make a ball with, that's where the extra panko comes in. You can put a little extra panko on your hand. So we're looking for golf ball size meatballs here, chicken balls, about like that. They're not going to be real firm. They're not going to be like a meatball, y'all. There you go. Around the golf ball sized chicken meatballs. And now we're going to do something very interesting. Something you probably didn't expect. Let's move back over to the Foodi for a minute. So we're still boiling here, and we've reduced it. We're down to the 3 mark, because this next part is going to help it thicken up even more. All right, what we're going to do is turn the Foodi off for a minute. We're going to take our rack and set it right down in there, and we're going to put our meatballs up here on the rack. And first I'm going to do a test fit, because we're going to do some broiling and make sure everything fits good, and they do. So we're going to line our rack with the meatballs over top of the sauce. I know, because what we want is some of this chicken fat to fall down into the sauce. We actually want that. Oh boy, am I not going to get them all in here? Let's see if we do a little rearranging. Gonna be close, y'all. Gonna be close. Get one more over to the side. We got them. All right, down with the lid, and we're gonna put it on broil. It is important to remember that we are not trying to cook these meatballs. We're trying to brown the top. Okay? 7 minutes on broil. We want the top pretty browned. Don't really care about the rest right now, because these will be going into the sauce to finish cooking later. And what we're really after is to get some of that delicious chicken fat to drip down into the sauce. All right, I added about another minute to my time, and I'm almost there. I want to get these right in here about the same color as this one. Sometimes all you got to do is roll it around. Seems to be cooking better on this side. Roll it around. Give it about another minute. The goal here is to get these tops really, really, really brown, and let some of that chicken fat just drip down into the sauce. All right, we're looking good, y'all. What we want to do now is transfer these meatballs to a nice new clean platter. A little sticky. It's okay. All right, what we're going to do now is remove the rack. And I want to show you why I did what I did a little earlier when I stopped at the 3 mark, because it is now down to the 2 mark. From the 10 minutes of broiling, reduced it down to exactly where I needed it. All right, all we're going to do now is slow cook it for the rest of the day with the chicken meatballs out of the sauce. The chicken meatballs will be covered with plastic wrap once they cool down and just put in the fridge till the end of the day. All right, in order to slow cook, you're going to need your pressure lid. Go ahead and put that on. Now, it is very, 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 very important that you put your pressure lid on vent. Do not put your pressure lid on seal. We're not pressure cooking, but you will be if you put it on seal. Make sure it's on vent. Power up. Slow cook. Throw it on low. Default is 8 hours. And now let's just forget about it for about 5 to 6 hours. And we're gonna try to just cook that sauce all day long and just get it even thicker and thicker and thicker. And for the last 30 to 40 minutes, or really 30 to 40 minutes before we're ready to eat, we will place the chicken meatballs into the sauce, cover them up with the sauce, and put it back on sear saute medium and just cook it for about 30-40 minutes. That'll finish cooking the chicken meatballs in that thick sauce. And then we've got a little extra special topping to put on at the end. Make sure you stay tuned to the end to see what I'm going to do. As soon as these cool, we'll put a little plastic cover over and pop them in the fridge. Welcome back, everybody. It's about 7 hours later. The sauce has been on slow cook the entire time, and I've just brought the meatballs out of the fridge, and we're going to go ahead and get those in, covered in the sauce, and finish cooking them. All right, what we're going to do is just roll these around a few times like this, and we'll keep spooning the sauce over as we cook as well. All right, we're going to put this thing back on sear saute. Bring it to a medium. A medium is going to cause it to simmer, which is what we want. But after we get a good little simmer going, I think we're going to drop it to medium low and just let those meatballs finish cooking up. Only takes a minute for things to warm up here in the Foodi, and we're already coming up to a nice little simmer. So we'll let that go for a while, and then we'll cut it back to medium low and finish it off. All right, we've got a really nice simmer going now. I'm going to cut it back to medium low, see if I can just hold that simmer at a slightly lower temperature. If not, we'll move it back up. It's a great thing about the Foodi, it reacts very quickly, and you can make adjustments on the fly. I wasn't happy with medium low. I've moved the setting back to sear saute medium. I want more of a simmer because I'm not just trying to finish cooking the meatballs, I'm also trying to further reduce the sauce. The more I can reduce it, the thicker and stickier it's going to get. And I'm figuring about another 10 to 15 minutes cook time here, so I want a pretty good simmer for that time. I'll be checking the internal temperature of these meatballs shortly. All right, I just gave them a quick check with my digital thermometer. We're looking at about 105 internal. I need 165 to be properly cooked for chicken. I might even go to 175. It's not going to affect the flavor, taste, texture. It's just going to make sure it's really, really cooked well. Keep on cooking. Very important to continuously roll these over, guys. Want an even cook. We want to get that sauce on both sides really penetrate. This has been an all-day cook in the Foodi, and it's probably been one of the best air fresheners I've ever had. My house has smelled like Thai cooking for 8 hours now. Love it. All right, I'm often asked, oh, what else are you making to go with that meal? Well, that's a yellow squash from the garden, red and green pepper. Got some butter going in there. Got some Himalayan pink salt, black pepper going in there, and that's all being cooked in my Curtis Stone frying pan. That's going to be one of the sides. The other side is some jasmine rice, which I've already made, and it's left over in the fridge, so I just got to warm it up. All right, remember I told you about a topping we were going to do? We're back over to the Ninja food processor. What I've got here, a couple scallions. I'm gonna break them up in my hand and we're just gonna throw them in. These are 2 scallions here, just busting them up in my hand. They'll break down in here real easy. You need about 1/2 cup of dry roasted unsalted peanuts. Make sure it's unsalted, guys. You don't want all that salt in this food. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna put a good little bit in there. I like peanuts. And some lime juice. I happen to have some concentrate here, so I'm just going to use that. And that is going to be our topping. I'm just going to pulse it. Find something to scrape with. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're just going to scrape that down a little bit now. All right, we're going to take about half of that mixture, sprinkle it right on top, let these new flavors get mixed in there. And the rest of it will be put on after it's served. Just like that. And we just let that finish cooking, y'all. There you have it, guys. Thai sticky meatballs, entirely cooked in the Ninja Foodi. Mission accomplished, if you ask me. Look at that. Thick sauce. Little peanut, lime, scallion. I'm going to go ahead and cut into one of these for you. Look at that. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments. Click the like button for me. Make sure you share the video. Don't forget to check the description box. There's a bunch of links in there, Patreon. There's also going to be a rather lengthy ingredient list and instructions for this one. This is a pretty complex dish. I don't expect anyone to try to remember this one by watching the video, so you'll need to read it. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure had fun cooking it. Hey guys, what a great fun cook that was. Let's go ahead and take that bite I just cut off for you. Oops. Trying to get that to focus. That is every bit as delicious as I thought it was going to be. Even with all those spices I put in, it's not very spicy. It has just a mild kick to it. Flavors are just bursting out of that. There's so much going on there. Amazing. Here it is served up with some of that jasmine rice. Here's a little extra topping still that I made. I don't think I need it. I've got plenty of topping on there, but it makes plenty if you like extra peanuts and stuff. And you can see how thick it is. The sauce is not even running. That just worked out perfectly. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will see you on the next video.